Hi Scorpio, welcome to your September reading. We're going to be doing September and just the first week into October as well, as I'm running a little bit late. Technical issues, good old Mercury retrograde. I've got to thank for that. I'm going to start by pulling you a card from the Oracle deck, Alice the Wonderland. Just get an overall general energy, and then we're going to hit some tarot. So before we do that, I'm just going to cleanse any residue energy from the past readings. Cancer's was a little bit sticky. So me and Eddie, the furry boy, we went for a walk down by the river and connected with the water energy. And yeah, we'll see what comes through for you now. If you do hear some strange noises in the background, it's Eddie playing with his toy. We might get a look at him a little later, we'll see. So I'm going to use tincture bells, so cover your ears if you're sensitive. And again. That stopped Eddie in his tracks. Okay, let's start with an oracle card for you guys. So for September, what is the general overall energy for you for this month? And just that little bit into October as well, so you get a full month of use out of the reading. Okay, one just flipped over, so I'm going to take that one. Two really want to come out. Strangely, that happened for Libra as well. It's the only two signs. Keep your temper and painting the roses red. Don't allow anger to rule you. Okay, so this is your first card. Keep your temper. And your second card, painting the roses red, covering up errors. Okay, an intriguing start to the reading. I'm going to read for the book for these two. So the first one we've got is number 20. I don't think I've pulled either of these cards before, so I'd be intrigued to see what they represent. Although I can get a feeling from the energy already. When Alice is confronted by so much strangeness, so much that is unlike what she's used to, and even her own self is changing this way and that, she finds herself running very short of patience. Indeed, she starts to become angry. When we are thrown this way and that by life, uncertain of what will happen next, and there are no straight answers to our questions, our tempers can begin to fray about the edges. We may become irritable, short and less patient than we would be when all is familiar and comfortable. The caterpillar's advice to Alice is very good counsel indeed. For Alice to make her way through Wonderland, and for any of us to make our way through life, we must be wary of our temper taking over our good sense. It's natural that Alice is feeling out of sorts. She is contending with the uncertainty of her size and the loss of a sense of self she's relied upon all her young life. She needs help, but to get help, she must be patient with the caterpillar's slowness and the Cheshire cat's nonsense, a rabbit that doesn't see her for who she is, and even more curiousness. If Alice reacts and grows angry at the creatures within Wonderland, she may never make her way through to the other side. This is not to say that anger is wrong or unnatural, but when we are seeking the help of others, it is best not to get angry if they do things a little differently. Acknowledge your irritation quietly to yourself. Do not deny your response, but know it is important for you to continue to find ways to communicate with those around you. Growing angry with them would serve no purpose at all, except to make you more lost and isolated than ever. So maybe some feelings bubbling up around certain issues, guys. But like the card says, or like the book says, it's not unnatural to feel these feelings. It's when we represent them to the world and how they may come across that can be a little bit of a stumbling block for us sometimes. And the second card you've got is painting the roses red, covering up errors. Number 27. I'll read from the book again for this one. We all make mistakes. Every single one of us upon this planet has made a mistake, misunderstood, done something that wasn't quite correct, and mixed things up rather terribly. Today, people often complain and want perfection. Much like the dreaded Queen, they behave as if they have the right to cut people's head off, to punish them if they have not carried out their assignments perfectly. The same applies to our soul assignments. Despite what our soul would best enjoy learning, we humans often misunderstand, head off in another direction and make some rather wonderful mistakes. Thankfully, unlike the Queen, our soul will not punish us, but we do need to do some work to make things right. While you may be tempted to cover things up and not be open about what has happened, especially perhaps to yourself, it truly is best to see what can be done. If this relates to you on an everyday level and you are working for a person who will be unkind or cruel if you do not perform tasks perfectly, then you may need to find a way to peacefully escape the situation. That way you can enjoy white roses just as they are, without fear of making a mistake or making things even worse because you feel you must cover up an error to avoid punishment. White roses are perfect and lovely and innocent. Do not try to cover up anything within yourself that you feel is not right, for fear of being punished for not presenting or behaving to expectation. Okay, so I'm just going to see what other energies come through for me in these cards. I'm going to hit the painting the roses red first. Yeah, I sort of get a feeling from this that you might feel like someone is lurking, ready to criticise you at any point. There's the cat's there. I hope you can see that in the bushes just behind her, and it looks like he's ready to pounce. So you could feel like all eyes are on you, and if you slip up or you don't hit targets or deadlines, or maybe you've set intentions for yourself or expectations high of yourself, and there's worry there about faltering and feeling the need that you've got to cover this up, but you haven't got to cover anything up. You are working in your own divine timing. And as the book says, if you do feel like there are people around you that are going to pick out all the negative points, or, there are times, isn't there, where you can do 1,000,001 tasks and be there for someone in so many ways. And there's that one person that will always pick out the one thing you didn't do, or critique the things that you have done for them. So yeah, don't feel the need to cover it up. There's nothing here to hide at all. And then going to the keep your temper. I'm just not very surprised that you would feel a level of anger and frustration and even resentment, because if you're working this way, whether it's expectations from others or expectations for yourself, and you're working under that energy, you are going to start feeling quite resentful in those situations. So although these cards, that I thought this card came out first, actually they were stuck together and they wouldn't come apart. Obviously they're both meant to come out together. I think maybe that card should have come out first, because I think that's the reason for this, and why you might be feeling a little short-tempered at the moment, like nothing you can do is enough type of thing. Allow those feelings, be aware of them when they rise in you, and see why you feel those emotions. Don't ever push them away. Anger isn't something we should be ashamed of. In fact, the more that we do try and push it down, the angrier it can get sometimes. Okay, So I'm going to just move these tincture bells over there, and we're going to pull you some tarot. So I'm going to set them out in the order that I believe they work in. And we're going to pull some tarot for you, get a little bit more insight. So I can feel that pressure. There's definitely a pressure there. We're going to go, now we've got sort of your general energy, we're going to go with past, present and future. So a past card, please, for Scorpio. A past card that will resonate with the current situation, please. Angels, spirits, guides, ancestors, universe, whoever wants to come through and help guide Scorpio for their highest good. Okay, 2 cards are flipped over. We have the Ten of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands. Very strong energy there. And then for the present moment, the energy Scorpio is possibly transitioning into from this past energy. Oh, the Page of Cups reversed. Yes, another one that keeps coming out in these readings. There's a couple. The Four of Swords keeps there. It seems to be a little bit of a theme, that reflection time, I think. 3 cards for the future energy. Beautiful energy. We have the Strength card, but it's in reverse. We have the 9 of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords. And now we're going to shuffle for the energy that surrounds you, the energy that is available to you. Usually this is like a positive energy that you might not quite be seeing or not quite able to step into at the moment for one reason or another. Oh. Okay. We've got the 7 of Cups and the Page of Pentacles. So the next card is going to be a block card, and I feel like both of these cards are those 2 positions. It's almost like it's answering both questions at the same time. So the energy that is available, and also the blocking energy to it. And lastly, can we have a guidance card? A card of guidance, please, for Scorpio. Oh, lots of messages want to come through now. Guidance. It feels like there's a lot of energy around you that wants to try and either get messaged to you or step in. Let's see what actually comes out in the cards. Okay. I'm feeling like there's more than one here that needs to come through. We've got the 10 of Wands. But I'm going to take also the bottom of the deck and the split of the deck, because I just feel like there's too many messages wanting to come through. I'm going to leave them to one side, and then I can just look at them when I need to throughout the reading and see if there's significance in there as well. Okay, whew. Let's check in with some of your energy for September. Okay. Starting with the past energy, we have the 10 of Pentacles. Quite often can mean sort of happy home, happy family, happy community. The 10 is with Pentacles and with Cups as well. Sort of everything you wanted, stability, everything in its place. Achieving something that's stable. And then we've got the Queen of Wands, who is very fiery and passionate and knows what she wants, very confident in herself, uses all the elements to her advantage. Very strong-willed. and determined and getting through this one as well. It has a sort of inner knowing, an understanding of what's fair and just. And so together, I feel like in the past, you've known, or you felt you've known, what you want from life, and it feels here that you actually succeeded in that. You got the Ten of Pentacles. Now, how that plays in now, we'll have to see. Okay, so then we have the Page of Cups. So this is the Page of Cups upright. It came through in reverse for you. In the present position. I think you're trying to connect with a more going with the flow kind of energy. I feel like you stumble with this sometimes and find yourselves at times falling into old patterns where you might feel you need to grab hold of something and I want to say sort of take control a little bit. But I think you're aware that this happens, that you do this. Because you can see she's sort of made of water. She's integrated with the water element there and quite in tune with her emotions. And in reverse, she is actually grabbing hold of a flower there. It's almost like she can't just let it all, with it being in reverse anyway, she can't just always let it flow. Sometimes she feels the need to, oh no, I've got to grab that and do something with it. And the Page of Cups can sometimes have a meaning in reverse of feeling almost blindsided at times, and like you've had the wool pulled over your eyes, or things aren't quite as they seem, or you've been taken in, or you've believed things were a certain way when they weren't. And that can relate to anything. It can relate to relationships, or and that's friendships, partnerships, work environments, your business, your creativity, your spiritual side as well, or psychologically. So that it can be in lots of different ways. You can maybe find yourself sometimes pulling the wool over your own eyes to an extent. But I feel like you're really trying to go with the flow more. Which is a really nice energy. Okay, let's move on to the future position. So the future position in this spread will be through September into the first sort of week of October. We have the Strength card in reverse, and we have the Nine of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords. Okay, I'm going to show you these separately. I love the Strength card in this deck. It is in reverse, so I'm getting a sense that you've had to be strong, but that this is a time of I feel like you're coming out of it a little bit, if I'm honest. It's a little bit of mixed up energy here. You've maybe sort of felt at times that you've needed to draw on strength to get you through things. I'm feeling a little bit like, especially if you're starting to tune in with this go with the flow sort of vibe, you might be putting that down a little bit, and entering into this Nine of Pentacles energy, which is a lot freer. She's literally blossoming there, and finding beauty in things that before maybe weren't showing themselves to her. She's just dancing away and feeling very free, and she's got this butterfly here in her finger, and she's noticing how wonderful things actually are, or how wonderful things can be. She feels like she's really stepping into her own and almost openly showing that as well, because there's people in the background here. Something I've never noticed really before. There's people in the background watching on looking, and appreciating you, appreciating your growth and how majestic and elegant you are in the way you approach things, and your outlook. And then the last card in the future position is the Ace of Swords. Now, the Ace of Swords can mean that there's a truth coming to light. This can be like a realisation or a download that you're having, a sudden aha moment, or something providing clarity. Aces are about new opportunities as well. So it's almost like you're coming out of a place where you felt you've needed to draw on strength, even from outside, sort of guides and things like that. She has all these animals around her. She has the snake, the panther or the leopard, the bear, the elephant, lots of creatures, and I feel like they're parts of you, and guides and things that have sort of come around you to support you through something very challenging. And I just feel like it's almost as if they're saying, okay, you're all right now. I was really struggling with the energy of that Strength card in reverse, and I couldn't place it with these other two cards here. I was trying to link it. That's what it is, that they're saying, you're good, you're all right now. Look, you're seeing things clearly. The truths are starting to hit. This card as well, I quite often see as journaling or writing, or something that you can find freedom in writing, because as you can see, it's a pen with a feather. There's another message here that I'm not quite getting through. It's linked to that Ace of Swords. Let me just put the other two down and see if it comes through for me. The truth will set you free. I just... That's the words I'm getting. The truth will set you free. And you look very free and happy on that card. The Nine of Pentacles is a beautiful card. In the original Rider-Waite deck, if I'm recalling it correctly, she has always 6 pentacles that she keeps for herself, and she restores them 6 pentacles all the time. So she's got the other 3 to always give. And it's a little bit of it's that saying, isn't it? You can't pour from an empty cup. This is fulfilling yourself, constantly making sure that your energy is topped up and fulfilled, so you can give more freely without depleting your own resources. That's the other message there. I was just missing the mark a little bit with it. And you're definitely starting to see beauty in things that you wouldn't have before. There's a lot of growth here. You can see she's growing, she's blossoming. And something about some kind of truth coming to light, or some kind of realization, or it could even be something that you find you write that resonates, or that you read that's been written that resonates. But your guides are almost sort of saying, we don't have to watch your every step anymore. You're good. Not that they're stepping away from you at all, but just I think they feel that you're okay, which is nice. Okay, so moving on to the energy that's available for you at the moment. I was just a little bit, I wasn't sure which way round these went. And I think they are in the right order. So we have the Seven of Cups. Now that's it upright. And it's come through in reverse for you as the energy that's available. And the Page of Pentacles is your crossing energy, the blocks and restrictions to this. It's the first reading I've had it this way, because I usually see the energy available is a positive thing that you're just not tapping into because of that block. In this case, I actually think there are energies around you that aren't so pure, and your block to it is a positive thing, because you're actually okay. You can see in this card, he's sitting quite happily with his grapes and his wine there. Feeling quite, I don't need that, thank you. And that's sort of how it feels, like I don't need that. Grapes are known in tarot to be something that's very hard to grow. Well, not just in tarot, grapes are quite hard to grow, and especially good enough grapes to make wine out of. Not an easy task. And this is saying to me that you've grown your own grapes, you've nurtured something, you've created something that is worthy of drinking. And this is quite a tricky energy that's around you. I'm trying to place it. It's almost like the card is someone beckoning you in with promises of gold and all the good stuff. Now, whatever that is to you, it could be, it's cups, so it could be emotional promises as well. But on the imagery, it's gold and temptations and monetary things, and it is in reverse. Let's see what else I can pull from this. It just feels tricky. Tricky energy. Something trying to tempt you, and I'm not sure. If we had the Devil card here, I would tend to believe this was something of yours, like an internal trickster, your mind, or something trying to pull you back into old habits, especially with the Page of Cups in reverse in your present position, where you're trying more to go with the flow, but you're stumbling sometimes. The past energy where you felt very sure of yourself and you knew what you wanted and you reached it. And then freeing yourself with some kind of truth. But the Devil isn't here. So I don't tend to believe this is sort of a belief system or something that you've had that's trying to trick you into an old pattern, but I'm struggling to place it. Whether this is a person around you or just a general energy, it could be many people. All is not what it seems. And an offer that's too good to be true usually is. and that's all I can sort of gauge from this. But I don't think it's an issue for you here, because you're basically saying, no, I'm all right, thank you. That's what the words I keep getting through when I see that card. No, I'm all right, thank you. So I don't think this is anything to worry about at all. It's just a little heads up, really. How interesting. The first time it's come out that way in these readings. And then your advice, your guidance, your advice from your guides is the Ten of Wands. I was getting lots and lots of different energies. It was almost like it's almost like all of these guides that have been around you were all trying to get a message through to you. And yeah, there was quite a few. So I have got a couple put to one side here, but the Ten of Wands was the card that actually came out. And this is saying, you know, you're nearly there. You've been carrying, again, it's a 10. So you've been carrying a lot. It's been heavy, it's been burdensome. You've been carrying a lot of other people. In this card, in the original Rider-Waite, we have the guy carrying the wands. And he's almost back at home, but he's been carrying these wands and they're getting heavy, and it's like you're almost there. It's that feeling of home is just in the distance and you can put it all down. This is literally carrying people. So you could have felt you've taken on the burdens of others, which actually would link in with this painting the roses, feeling that pressure from like someone's ready to pounce on you whenever you make a mistake. And no wonder there's an element of resentment there, or a little bit of anger. Because, you know, you've been doing this, but what the guidance is saying is you're nearly there. It's a 10. 10s are endings, so it's time to put the burdens down. It's time to put other people's shit that you're carrying or that you have been carrying. It's not yours to carry. It's time to put it down now. And I think also it's an acknowledgement from your guys to say, we know you've been strong. We know you've been handling a lot. Yeah. Let's see what these other guidance cards. I wasn't sure which way to go with it. There was such a lot coming through. You've got the Hierophant here, which is another. It's a card of, I would say, a guide, literally holding their hand out to you to say this way, and help you through. It's a new path, and it's the woods can be dark sometimes and a little unknown, but it's almost like your ancestors can show you, your ancestors even can show you the way through. It's in reverse, and I do believe that's also linked with the feeling of you've been guided so far, and whether you know it or not, there's been a lot of guidance around you, like a lot of energy supporting you close by. And lovely message just comes through. It's saying it's time for you to now be the guide. Oh, that's very touching. I was getting ancestors, and it would make sense because things are passed down. So yeah, so maybe your ancestors have been helping to guide you through, and it's like passing the torch. It feels like passing the torch because it's in reverse. Never got that message through before. It's a really beautiful, it's a very touching energy, that is. And the Five of Pentacles is here. The Five of Pentacles I can read as quite a sad card sometimes, and a period of hardship or of lack. But because of where it's coming out in your guidance, I'm going to put the three together. So you've got the Ten of Wands. It's time to put other people's stuff down, and you're almost there. You've been carrying a lot. It's time now for you to drop some of that stuff. It could just be that you're nearing the end of a challenge, or you're close to the end of a goal or something like that. It's a little bit of a, you're nearly there, you know. It's a nice sort of encouragement sort of feeling, and also a knowing that you've been through a lot. And then you've got the Hierophant here in reverse, which is a guide, an ancestor, or someone that's been by your side. It feels like almost passing on the torch. It's really, really beautiful. It came through in reverse like that. And then the last card is the Five of Pentacles, and I think because it's in the guidance position, it's saying you will come out of a place of lack. You won't feel lack anymore. You'll feel fulfilled. I can link it to health as well quite often. Pentacles, especially with the Five of Pentacles, it can be coming out of a period of ill health as well. Not upright within a reading in another position, but in this position it feels like it's linked to these burdens that you've been carrying. Wow, what a reading, Scorpio. Yours are always emotional. I always get quite emotional on your readings. I'm glad I went and connected with the river earlier today. I think that's helped. I'm just quickly having a look over to make sure there's nothing else that stands out. The card that's standing out to me the most is this Queen of Wands. I was wondering how the past energy related, because I was expecting some disappointment, that this was, you know, you thought you knew what you wanted, you had it all, and then there was some disappointment, and that's why it was showing up, but there's nothing like that. So I think what it's saying is, because the past cards can sometimes remind us of a pattern, or it can bring our attention to when we've overcome something in the past and how we've done it, so that we can tune back into that energy, or it can be what's led you to the current situation. I think this is reminding you to tune back in to your sovereignty here, your power and your strength, and your strength of will, your inner knowing. And that's what's, looking at all the cards, even that beautiful guidance, this is the part of the reading, weirdly the past, that's drawing me to possibly remind yourself of this lady, which is you, and maybe asking you to remember what it is you really want. It's a huge question. What is your Ten of Pentacles? what would make you happy, and not just one thing, sort of in all areas, and bringing together, because I think the Ten of Pentacles speaks of everything, having it all, and that is sort of can encompass every part of our lives really. What makes it everything you ever want type of thing. I can't explain it in a better way right now. So that's what I'm drawn to, even over, which surprises me actually, even over that beautiful message at the end, that Queen of Wands, tapping into that energy of yours. So you may have to think back to when you felt that prior, and tap back into that energy. I think that's everything. I think that's all the messages that want to come through. I mean, I still feel like there's lots and lots of different guidance cards that want to come through. I just think you've had a lot of guides around you and they all want to have a word. But I am going to leave it there. And what I'll do, I'll take a photo of this for at the end of the reading so that you can take a screenshot and refer back to it, see if you get any intuitive hits yourself. I've done it on a couple of the readings where I felt there's a lot that's come through, and sometimes you might see something that resonates that I've not quite picked up. But I hope it does resonate, and I hope you can take something away from that through your September and into October. Lovely. Thank you for letting me read for you, Scorpio. Take care now. Bye bye.